As always, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. Rich is making another video about XRP today, so wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. I have to start with this as a follow-up to the banking GOP's information request before we discuss XRP. With over a decade of international regulatory experience and a proven track record from the SEC battle, Ripple offers a distinct perspective. We're prepared to contribute to the creation of pro-innovation, pro-consumer crypto regulations, and all of this was written by Stuart Alderotti, who sent it to the banking GOP. All Ripple wants is an equal playing field, you know. Additionally, they wish to see crypto advance innovation in the US. In fact, I believe that the Howey test will no longer be applied to newly released cryptocurrency. The Ripple test will be applied to them. However, I'm interested to see where this goes. Remember, a patent for an integrated XRP wallet is owned by Bank of America. A significant announcement might rock cryptocurrency. The fact that Bank of America has patents for integrating XRP and Ripple indicates that the banks were aware of the impending developments long ago. People are still unaware that banks will utilize XRP in the future, despite the fact that Bank of America has been utilizing it internally for years. Everyone has doubts about everything, you know, until it occurs, but this is undoubtedly on the horizon. RLUSD Vault is introduced by Doppler Finance. Users can deposit and earn RLUSD, a US dollar pegged stablecoin released by Ripple, into Doppler as of right now. As a result, they are developing methods for you to get income on stablecoins in addition to cryptocurrency. You know, the day will come when you will never again sell your cryptocurrency. You might use your cryptocurrency as collateral. It might be used as mortgage collateral. You will be able to earn passive money by lending out your cryptocurrency. The maturation of crypto is changing the times. Furthermore, anyone who believes that meme coins and rug pulls will become the norm in the future is mistaken. Once the institutions arrive, that won't be the case. Smoke is the source of this. Two private discussions with Ripple regarding RLUSD issuance in the EU and MECA regulation are documented in the 2025 European Banking Authority log. By the way, the only cryptocurrency business mentioned in these meeting logs is Ripple. It's also documented. This is where you can see it. An update on the RLUSD issuing process during the EU Ripple Summit. Here you can see it once more, meeting with MECA and Ripple. As you are aware, the EU already acknowledges RLUSD as the currency of the future. They also believe that XRP is the way of the future. The digital euro is on the horizon. It's coming for sure. They are currently attempting to expedite it. I believe their goal is to have it out by October. What will they use, in your opinion, to transfer the digital euro? Since XRP can transport anything of value and you don't want to have pricey items when you're trying to move, it will be XRP, movement in favor of a digital currency issued by a central bank. However, I believe the digital euro will fail. Believe that the ECB will ultimately proceed with the stablecoin. The same thing that is occurring in the United States is already occurring in other nations. Since the central bank controls all of the people's money, who wants to use a digital currency issued by the central bank? The markets were just rocked by the US SEC's breakup. The historic recognition of compliant stablecoins as cash equivalents has the potential to release billions of dollars in institutional wealth. Adoption of this is enormous, and XRP and RLUSD are in a great position to take the lead. Clarity in regulations has arrived. Utility, domination, and liftoff follow. As a result of this SEC action, it is now recognized as cash equivalent. That's crucial because stablecoins will eventually supplant currency once they are accepted as payment methods. A cashless society is on the horizon. The general consensus is that it will never occur. Although it is unlikely to occur under this administration, I anticipate that we will transition to a cashless society by the time we elect a new leader. The majority of other nations will have already begun to move even more in that direction by that time. Vincent Van Coder is the source of this. Here is the US SEC's statement about specific liquid staking activities. According to Vincent Van Coder, this is huge, but always exercise caution while staking. The SEC does not consider liquid staking operations stocks. They usually steal your tokens. Legally, you are not the owner of them. The danger is probably larger when the yield is higher. I've also stated that, most of the time there will be a lot of risk involved when you notice opportunities to gain 20% to 30% on your tokens. The danger decreases as the yield decreases. Always consider the company's identity. Where are they incorporated? What legal safeguards are in place for my tokens? Which terms and conditions apply? Go over it carefully. Don't simply press accept. Your token holdings and subsequent debt are typically regarded as low creditors. In the event that the business fails, you will probably receive very little. What the hell are they doing with your tokens to give you 20% back? Elephant in a room. It implies that in order to turn a profit, they need to make at least 25%. You should always ask yourself that question. Yield scams typically offer 20%. However, you will be tough before they offer you the equivalent of your state tokens. I avoid it since it's a horrible business. AMMLP fees would be more beneficial for you. However, you will also most likely lose money in a turbulent market. Hold on, this isn't financial advice, and he's absolutely right. Some will even go as high as 30% to peak attention if they are only giving 20%. At some point, the majority of them will be discovered to be rugs. In the long run, you might get cents on the dollar back. For this reason, you must read carefully before staking, by way of the terms and conditions. Additionally, most of the time, if something seems too good to be true, it is. According to Loomis, crypto banking is being blocked by the Fed. I genuinely concur with Cynthia Loomis for once. Do you think the Fed is stifling the cryptocurrency revolution? Of course, the way that banks that dealt with digital assets as borrowers were actually forced out of business by the Fed's bank regulators. Larry, those banks were solvent. Those were not failing banks. The Fed, in my opinion, intends to select winners in the cryptocurrency market. You know, I think the Fed has been quietly working with Ripple for a very long time. However, the Fed also enjoys power plays. For the same reason, Powell says, well, we're just not going to do anything when the president begs for a rate cut. Rates won't be increased. We will not lower rates. All we're going to do is leave it alone. However, given that JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs and BlackRock have all called for rate reduction, Powell is probably going to do so in September. However, once more, I believe he was also a major contributor to the crackdown on cryptocurrency that occurred prior to this president's inauguration. Jerome Powell consistently inflates the economy before feigning to combat it. The midnight airdrop for XRP holders from the Cardano Charles community was carefully collected by VPT. Engage only with the official website. Keep your XRP account keys to yourself. Downloading any program is not advised. Be very careful. Then you see the first response. Yes, I'm staying away from that. It's not worth having your XRP stolen. VPT adds that doing nothing is always the best course of action. There will be a lot of people attempting to conduct frauds during this airdrop. Furthermore, I'm not sure what you need to do to receive this airdrop. I didn't even investigate it, because I wasn't sure whether receiving this token was truly that necessary. I don't think it's really valuable. In addition to the XRP community, he is also dumping tokens on other groups, such as those who own other assets. I will absolutely share it with you if it appears to be authentic. It seems like a legitimate airdrop to me. Let me state that. However, if obtaining the airdrop genuinely involves a lot of work, I simply won't do it myself. I intended to offer this in that earlier video, and it comes from BD. Imagine that if all of the coins use proof of labor to safeguard the ledger, then doing so would be their sole skill. Fast block times, cheap fees, tokenization of real-world assets, stablecoins, DeFi, NFTs, and most surely Donald Trump turning the United States become the global center of cryptocurrency would all be absent. He's also not incorrect, and for that reason, Bitcoin will lose its significance, for the simple reason that proof of work is ineffective. We all adore the inexpensive fees. Real-time cryptocurrency transactions are what we desire. You don't want to wait 20 minutes for your Bitcoin transaction to process after going to Starbucks to get a cup of coffee. Furthermore, you most certainly do not wish to pay the exorbitant rates. Additionally, the SEC has flagged several cryptocurrency exchanges, including OKX, Bybit, and Qcoin, for operating without the required authorization in the Philippines alone. It issued a warning about possible App Store bans and enforcement measures. You don't keep your cryptocurrency on the exchanges, as I've been telling you all along. You have no idea what goes on during these conversations. Protect your cryptocurrency, nor your crypto nor your keys. If you're keeping it on an exchange, it contains your crypto and your keys. If you put it in a wallet, for many of these exchanges, we have no idea what will happen. Once rules are put in place, I believe